Good morning, everybody. I wanted to go over the stock DPW. Lower float stock runs all the time. It's run 10 times in the past, half year or so. Always having kind of the same news. The EV sector has, something to do with batteries, something new, especially more recently with the EV bubble. It has, leaned more towards those types of PRs. And the first thing I want to say is, well, I wanted to do this video because I thought I would share, how I nailed every top and bottom, how I had the correct bias, and just go over the entire day and the price action. And I think, it's just accumulation of everything that I've learned by watching thousands of hours of the markets and just, understanding DPW because I traded so much. And I think that matters. I think the personality of stocks matters. I think that how stocks trade matters. But I also want to say DPW is a stock that I short. I short all the time. I always short, always fades open market every single time. And that's important to note that when shorts think that phase every single time, they always short it. And so there could always be that one time, the one black swan where it goes. And today was that day, and you know I saw that coming, and it was because of the fact that the stock was not up because of this news that happened, early morning. And this stock, DPW, always has, 6:30 a.m. news, spikes and fades. It's done every single time. Sometimes, if it's pumpable enough, come along 7 a.m., you get a bit of a shuffle, spikes, goes up, 20, 50%, and fades right off. And so, today, EV bubble, this stock has been running up from, around 140, 160 last few days, signifying to me that it has finally caught on the EV bubble, and, has started to go on that. Until then, it hadn't really started to go on. It was just fading, 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 but the chart reversed slightly. So, just an interesting fact to know that. So when I got up, I didn't get up until a little bit later, until just before 7. If I had a solid stock here, only up 20, 30 cents, I would have gone long on the dips versus VWAP here into 7 a.m., anticipating a 7 a.m. shuffle. Unfortunately, I didn't even see the stock was up, but that would have been a perfect long right there, just snagging the dip, speculating size, and there was your confirmation that a 7 a.m. shuffle had begun. So this is about where I saw it, where I saw the stock. And so this is where I want to start to go over how I traded the stock, how I found the tops, how I found the bottoms, what I saw exactly, where I entered and exits and thoughts. So, I saw a 7 a.m. shuffle was happening. I saw we had a gap up EV, we had a PR, we had consolidation, we had a 7 a.m. shuffle, we have the beginning of a trade. DPW, prior runner, low flow, EV sector. So I'm interested in dips. So I think I did snag 262 there. Very small size because, my risk is down 2.4 area. So snagging small 2.62. Was really, really hoping for a pullback. Was praying for a pullback, praying. Added just a tiny little bit on the VWAP there, 260. Waited, and that's where I sized in right there, 252. And you want to say I scaled around here. So one of the strategies that I'm currently doing is going long in one account and forgetting about it, so that I don't have to worry about missing the full range move. And then the other account, I actually day trade in and out, in and out, in and out. So in one account, you go long, 252. And just forget about it. So that's what you do. Go along one account, you forget about it the rest of the day. So that's one account done. Verse 2.4, 2.3. My thoughts were 2.4. So that was one account. Second account in. So started in, heavy in. Decided to scale out over high day break. So I actually did scale it a little bit there because in this account I literally go in and out, in and out, in and out. And so continued to add the dips, and then I saw on there, it was interesting, I continued to see that the dips were being bought, and the dips were being bought. And that's where I said in chat, please be careful short because all the dips are being bought. So I sold out out of high of day. I was still long in my other account there, and I don't know why I keep losing internet connection. That's kind of frustrating because I just started this video. Yeah, sorry, I don't know what's happening. Okay. Sorry guys, just trying to figure out why that's happening. And so yeah, I sold out the account on the high day, rebought VWAP dip, sold high of day. You can see the candle was broken again, and time frame. So time frame matters. So now I said to myself, okay, we're going into 8 a.m. shuffle. We're going into 8 a.m. shuffle, and so what I want to do is look for VWAP hold is what I want to look for versus 2.6 area, because this was bought right up, so it shouldn't go back here because these shares were bought right back up. So I watched it go into 8 a.m. and it went right down to VWAP, so it's okay, I'm going to buy. So I bought on VWAP pretty heavy because it's only 10-cent risk versus 2.6. Added heavily here, 2.68. Again, versus 2.6. And I always say to myself, 812, 815, this range here, if it holds, then I'm long biased. And so now I'm going to risk versus 2.68 on ads here, 2.72. As it got to around 820, I said, now it's time to go. Now or never. I said in chat, literally now or never, at 2.76. And I was right. Went over high day. Sold some, high day break. Sold more. I sold all 3.01, and the reason I sold there is if you look left, there's a big area at 3, a prior day run. I'm not going to open the chart right now because it messes up my going back to today. But we'll look left in your own chart, the daily chart, and notice that 3 is big level, whole number was prior number from a prior day, and so I knew that was an important level, and so sold out there on one account. Remember, I'm still long the other account, 2.52, rebought a little bit on the dip, and scaled out into 3s. Didn't really have much of a position here. I just wasn't too worried because I'm still on the account, and just in and out. And then I didn't want to hold into open. So I had no position here actually through this consolidation in the second account. And so waited. There was actually a push here, which I wanted to short. Plan in chat was push 3.2, 3.4, and then fade. Important note now, we know that our key level here that was bought up was 2.71. So there's no reason why it should go or consolidate below 2.71. So again, having the correct bias, take a starter 2.83 versus 2.71 hold, add heavily 270s, pretty close to your level, and sell into high of day in case it rejects high of day. Again, this is in the day trading account. Re-add VWAP is the plan, all dips. Now you add here, my risk is down here at 2.8. Okay? The time frame matters, 10 a.m. By the time it gets down here, 10:15, 10:30, it should not be making new lows if the stock was going to grind higher. So now sold some high day break from the size here, because this size, because I was only 10-cent risk again. Sold high day break and sold into the parabolic 3.4, about 3/4 of the move. Was holding some now because we're open market, we're past 10 a.m., we're above VWAP, so we want to hold a little bit, but not much. And sold into completely this parabolic. I sold completely out right there. It felt like it had completed a second top and was topping out just a little bit. So sold completely out, and I actually went short there in another account and happened to be the top. And so now I was looking for continuation of the dip. So covering, the short, don't want to be greedy, looking for the long. I took, just trying to remember, I took some long there verse 3.3, I said, verse 3.3. Let's just go in tiny and let's see what happens. Just wanted to get a feel for it. I honestly thought it was going to go here, and I did add a little bit. Tried to perk up and then stuffed and failed, and I was like, oh. But it didn't really do much. Like, the price action wasn't too heavy. I just kind of sat there, and I said, okay, this is a perfect time to collect shorts. And so I actually added long and re-longed in my other account that's holding 3.6, which sold out here. So started a fresh hold outgoing, and it began to curl up a little bit. Added on the perk versus 3.61, anticipating that this was a fail breakout, snap, shorts are in, collecting shorts, and ramp back up, and would only sell into high day break, 4.5 push. So that's where I sold high day break, sold a bit more, had a quarter left, sold right out, 4.6 stuff, and re-added a little bit on this dip, the 4.3 versus the hold, and was very small position, but wanted to hold in case there was a parabolic, which there was, and I sold completely out into there, 620. Looking left, the high 52-week highs were 6.5, and I anticipated it to fail 6.5 and for them to use that as a fear zone. So was completely sold out in all accounts. Went short 6.2 versus 6.4. I said versus 6.4. And you're not going to believe this, the stock went to 6.3 freaking 8 or something like that. And I ended up being right short. And the interesting thing was it just kind of came down, and it's look at the volume. There's no volume. And there's no snap, there's no crack, there was no nothing. And so I was like, whoa, I don't like this at all. So I completely covered. Covered below this wick here, and just said, I don't like that. I'm going to miss a fade. I'm terrified, but at the same time, I don't like what it's doing because it's not cracking, it's not heavy, and it's just not heavy. And went long again, and sold in the washes, anticipated that. I was actually short biased here, sorry, so I was looking for the short still. Anticipated it coming up here into a fear zone, 6.2, 6.1, shorted, anticipated a snap, and went right there and actually snapped, and then it held the trend line. After it so-called snapped, it still held the trend line. And I was like, okay. And held, went up, came down, finally snapped the trend line. So broke trend that had been going for hours and hours and hours, no volume on the snap, held on the snap, and I said, boy, this is going higher. Completely covered my short, went long here, saw it perking, curling, all in, and right into the 7, sold over 7, and the rest is history. It's pretty obvious now at this point. It's going to close. It's just going to go higher. 15 minutes into close, nice place to short for, fade recovery right there, 7.8 versus 8. Nice little short. And then just anticipate a little bit of a after hours move versus lows, and that's exactly what happens. So that's how I play DPW. Those are the thoughts. That's how I found the highs. That's how I was thinking about things. Hope that helps. Hope that gives some insight, guys. Just a lot of screen time. So